Hi friends, how are you? Many times we talk about design school when you are students, when you have to get into a design school, what you have to do and how you have to prepare yourself when you want to go out of school to get a job. We will talk about the experience that we have to gain when we are at work. And the most important thing, when is the right time to quit your first job to go to your second job as a car designer or as a designer. Now you have to know that compared to when I started, today we are going fast. We are doing a lot of things much faster than we used to do in industry 6 years ago, 10 years ago, or like in my case 33 years ago. Okay, so when I got into the job for the first time, I was 26 years old, and to make a car, we made it in about 5 years and a half. From sketches, research to the real car. Today, we are doing this in roughly less than 4 years. So this means that we have an incredible help coming from mainly technology that gave us the opportunity to reduce in a very sensible way the time to market for our products, for our cars. And this means also that all the design process, whether it's engineering, design, marketing, and everybody else that is working on a project, also all those planning processes have been reduced. And also design has a new design process that every 5-10 years becomes, how can I say, a little bit shorter, and it's revised. This is normal. We have to think about when is the time to quit your first job and get ready to take your second job. And this one is very important. It's much more important than the first one when you get your first job, because the first job is just to gain experience, make a little bit of money, but basically it's really to make of you a real car designer. The second job, it's extremely important because for your career move, it's a very sensible step, okay? If you make a mistake there, you risk to get your career on a low direction if you choose the wrong company, or if you go into the wrong company. If you find the right step, which means the right company, then you have a very good chance to be projected, to a brighter future, which means also, of course, a little bit of extra money because you will be projected into a career as a designer. When is the right time to quit your first job? At my time, when I was in school, our teacher used to tell us always, stay in your first job for at least 2 years or 3 years, because that's perfect to learn everything you need to know about car design, the way you do the sketches, the way you do your ideation, the way you do your first projects, the way you follow your projects, and the way you will learn a little bit about techniques, modeling, how you manage a model, how you manage your first meetings with people from engineering or from product planning or from marketing. So basically how you integrate yourself within a design team, brand that you are working for, so that you can be really useful to push, to improve the brand through your work, and of course through the new models that will come out. Today, because everything goes so fast, some people ask me, I think that I'm gonna stay here 8 months, 1 year, and then I will go and I want to go to BMW, I want to go to Audi, because that's the hot place to be. In a way, you're right. But at the same time, I think that we have to think about the time needed in order to make experience. Because even if everything around us goes faster, as we said at the beginning of this video, technology, the design process, all those things are going to be reduced, and they go much faster. There is a time needed to learn, and you cannot accelerate that too much. Also, there is another thing very important, your curriculum vitae, your CV. Because if on your CV, in the space of few years, you have 3-4 companies, that's not a very good signal to who is watching and how can I say, judging your CV. It might sound, it might look like you are somebody that is not stable, or maybe was invited to go away from one of those companies, and that you are just like a throttle going right and left without really taking your time to stay in one place, learn, and then give to that place what you have to give in terms of talent, creativity, support. So what is very important is to understand the timing you need to learn, to make the experience, before you can decide to quit the company, your first company, and make the second career move that is, as I said before, very, very delicate, very, very important. So my advice is that according to my experience, according to what I see, according to what other colleagues tell me, you need at least 2 years to stay in your first job. And it's very simple. 2 years is the right time, because the first 3-4 months are those orientations months. You learn, you get into your first company, you have no experience, and therefore those 3-4 months are going to be very important for you to understand where you are, who are your teammates, how they are, how is the philosophy of the company, whether you like it or you don't. Understand a little bit of the history of the brand, because if you want to offer your creativity, even if everybody will ask you to do something different and new, you still have to learn a little bit of the history of the brand to understand the DNA of that brand and how you can manipulate that DNA with your creativity to offer an alternative design that might be taken into consideration. As we said, the first months it's really to get a very good orientation where you are. Then you have the other months, I would say 3, 4, 5, during which you will be participating to some projects. If you are very lucky, you will have a real project, okay? But now what is important is to understand is how you will be on that project, okay? I don't think that you will be there as the prima donna that will do everything, and therefore as you get in the new company you get right away your design accepted, becomes a model or a concept car or something like that. Of course it's very, very, very hard, because to do that you need experience and you need to know all the things that we talked about before. But you will be participating in the creative phase, okay, so that we can test you. We can see how is your creativity, the way you sketch, the way you prepare your final illustrations, the way you present with all other colleagues, when there is the design selection, all those ideas that are presented when we start a new project. And you will also be helping other people, like me for example, because sometimes on our projects we need some specific type of sketches or illustrations, and because you are the new ones just arrived, with fresh technique, of course we will talk about with you about what we need, and you will probably work for a month or two giving us some really nice illustration on somebody else's design. But this is very normal, it's no big deal. But most important thing is to understand is that the first 4-8 months you are not really learning a lot. You are learning what it means to be in that company. And of course you will be participating to big meetings or the big boss, and when we talk about where we are as a company or where we are as a design studio, what are the projects that we are making, what we will be doing next week, which are the new projects coming, so that you can start feeling that you belong to a big family and that is doing things, and there are lots of other interesting things to come that are the new projects. When is the right time when you really start learning how to give a very good contribution to the projects, and you learn? It's when you start working on a model, on a project that will become a model, and you are in a smaller team and you will be part of that. This is generally after the first year. If everything goes well, you will be part of that, and therefore it's not just your creativity or your first sketch. It's also important from you. It's expected from you also the follow-up, okay, with an expert designer, of course, some activities so that you can get closer to what it means to sketch, to work on a alias model, for example, virtual modeling with colleagues. Go and check the model that is being milled out, check the clay model, or if the model is becoming a hard model, you know, made of foam and paint and stuff. And that's the real time when you will start learning, you know, what it means to be a car design and how a sketch can become reality, how a sketch can become a real prototype. According to everything I said, you understand that it takes almost 2 years to get into a new family, understand where you are, take your know-how and put it on the table, show what you are capable to do, help a little bit the right and left people that need your help thanks to your skills, and then little by little you will be taken into the projects or the project. And that's the time when you will be learning. And that's the time also when you can say that you are starting to build a portfolio that is a professional portfolio and not anymore a student portfolio. And when you have the time to build up a little bit of project portfolio, which means a couple projects plus some little extra stuff, okay, automatically you can say, I can take my school portfolio, put maybe only my thesis project, and then renew my portfolio with the things that I can show from work. And that's when you have all your cards to play to be presented as a real professional to a new company that will become your second company. And as I said before, the second company is extremely important, because if you go to the right one, then you can only move up in terms of experience and career, even if it's gonna take kind of long time, okay? Because the careers that are too fast are never too good, believe me. But if you get to the wrong company, I don't know, a very small company, there's no career. Maybe a little bit of money, but no career. Of course you can make experience, but will be a limited experience according to a bigger company, okay? That has a 360-degree vision on a project. That's really the very important thing you have to consider when you will decide to move away, okay? And to make your second step. So, in conclusion of this video message for you, when is the time to leave your first job so that you can move to a second company? I would say 2 years. I hope I was useful to you, and of course stick to this channel even if I'm not very present because I'm kind of busy, but don't worry, I am always around. Okay?